You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
This is Melanie. And in the future, when you want to diet, instead of going and getting a bunch of crappy diet food, you'll just read articles that are written so realistically that you will feel like you've eaten a full meal.
This is Jesse. In the future, we will render the dental industry obsolete when foods become entirely liquid. So teeth are no longer necessary. So infants will have all their teeth removed. So upside, no root canals. Downside, no crunchy peanut butter or crunchy, well, anything. This is the future the liberals want.
This is Randy, and in the future, Welcome to the Grawlix podcast. Episode number 84, or is it?
It is.
Is it?
Are you sure?
Is. Yeah, because last time was 83.
Or was it?
It was.
Okay.
But was it?
Yeah.
We're Cryptic 84.
Cryptic 84. This episode we are talking about, it's our pull list episode, and we will be talking about chew.
Choo, choo, choo. I'm sorry.
Not giving that beep, beep.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it keeps going, yeah.
So let's talk about how wonderful chew is.
Wait.
But why-
What's a
Whoa,
pull
whoa, whoa, whoa.
list? What's
a
a
pull
pull
list? And why are we talking about it?
The poll list is the list that we have up on our website, and it's got books, and you get to poll and make your vote on which one you like, and then that's the one that we read the next month. And if you don't like any of the ones that are on there, you can put a new one on there, and then hopefully somebody else will vote on it, and eventually we'll read it.
It stays on the list until it's got the most votes, and then we'll read it.
Yep.
And we do that every month. Though the poll's always there, but every month we pick the one with the most votes, and we read that for next month.
And we've got some things on there that have been there for a while, and we have some things that are brand spanking new.
Woo!
I don't know why brand new things get spankings, but they do.
Because you got to make sure they're awake.
Yeah, we're awake.
You got to smack that baby on the buttocks.
I was going to say, is that because of the baby thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I learned a thing today. That's why it's brand spanking new, because you get a spanking when you're a baby. So you breathe. Make sure you breathe.
Because, can't just tell that it's alive. You got to smack it first.
Speaking of things that are both old and new on the list and winning the poll, next month we'll be reading Marvel's G.I. Joe. So that's some classic G.I. Joe, some Larry Hama.
Larry Hama. Awesome. Melanie is ecstatic.
Woo!
There's actually something that's like brand new that's in second place. This Blood Realm. I was telling Randy about it just the other day. We were looking at it, and it's in second place.
Oh,
I like
it
the
was
title.
not until now. So that's newly updated information.
go to grawlixpodcast.com and vote on whatever you want us to read next after G.I. Joe, which again, Melanie's super excited for.
Whoa.
I'm going to keep singing until we get your true reaction.
Yo, Joe!
Woo.
Okay, first up, before we get to Chew, which was our last month's winner, gameplay video still happening. Go to Grawlix YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Grawlix podcast. And we got the great gameplay videos.
We got the gameplay.
It's where you go for gameplay.
Don't hate the playa. Hate the game, but don't hate the playa.
Or the gameplaya.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that we don't have a whole lot of in-house news for this episode. So one of the things we don't always talk about is our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group. Did you know that?
Yeah.
It's actually growing. It's actually growing. That's awesome. We would like to grow more. So we would like to give it some sunshine. We would like to give it some rain. We'd like to give it a little plant food or fertilizer or whatever Facebook groups need, whatever dogs need, so that they're satisfied and stop interrupting the podcast. So we'd like you, if you are a fan of the show, to go check it out. If you're on the Facebooks, check out. You can find it. It's just look
Facebook.com/group/Grawlix podcast.
Hey, there we go. That's what you do. So go check it out. We post just random shenanigans, and we also post stuff that's relevant to the show. So we would love to have your interaction there. And when we do Facebook Lives through the Facebook page, the Grawlix Facebook page, we'll also hopefully remember to post them to the group as well. So, yeah, I mean...
that I should set up a short link for that. GrawlixPodcast.com/group. That'll get you there. There we go. I'll set up a redirect.
I like it. It's snappy. It's to the point.
It's to the point.
You know, and those are the things that I would choose. I would choose them to be snappy and to the point.
I made the very conscious decision to let you just flounder in that one.
Well, thank you for choosing to do that.
Yep. Very conscious choice. Okay, so we're going to talk about you.
Me?
We're talking about you.
We're going to talk about you. Specifically, we will be discussing Chew Volume 1, as in the trade paperback. It's like the first 5 issues of the comic series. Okay, the series started in June of 2009. 2009? I didn't realize it was that old.
Yeah.
It
wasn't even new.
Almost 10 years old. That's crazy.
It wasn't even new when we started reading it back.
No, I knew that.
Yeah. Wow, crazy. Okay. Written and lettered by John Layman. Penciled, inked, and colored by Rob Guillory?
Guillory?
The way it's Guillory. Okay. Guillory. Rob Guillory.
Yeah.
And Volume 1, Taster's Choice is what they call the trade paperback. It's the name of the arc. Yeah, so Chew. Basically, this is about...
Tony Chew.
Tony Chew.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. It's very...
I get confused by him and his siblings.
He has in this, he has a brother that pops up, but that's it.
Oh, well, he has multiple siblings.
Chow Chew.
Was it Chow? Yeah. More food puns. But who was a cook on TV?
Yep.
So Tony Chew is a detective who has a power. What do they call it? He's like a
Cybopathic or cybopathic.
Yeah, so basically pretty much anything he can eat, anything he eats, he gets like visions of, I don't know, from that thing's history. Mm-hmm. It uses the example of like if he eats like vegetables, he'll get like, visions of like the insects and pesticides that were used on it and all that, to where it kind of makes him sick. And, with meat, it's like usually slaughterhouse images and stuff. And so he hates eating. The only thing he can eat are beets, and they, oddly enough, don't do that. Like that's the only food that gives him nothing. So he actually likes beets, so he'll eat that.
I don't say he likes them, but
well, he likes to eat them because they don't give him horrible visions.
Yeah.
So he's a food psychic.
Yep.
And that could be handy if you're a detective, and you have to gnaw on a perp once in a while.
And ironically, he is a cop anyways. Like he's just a normal cop at the beginning of this thing.
Yeah, he very quickly. So the plot of this is kind of interesting, but I don't know. I don't know how much I have to say other than like it very quickly segues him into working for the FDA. Oh, and that's another thing. Apparently there was some type of bird flu.
Mm-hmm. Avian flu that wiped out a whole bunch of people. So chicken and fowl, like eating meat, birds as meat, is illegal. And there's like black market chicken dealers and stuff. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it.
And, so he ends up, the FDA, who's like Does the FDA really have like agents like that, or is that just ridiculousness? They don't, right?
What?
I think they have agents, but they don't
Like
they're
SWAT
not
agents?
Like, no, they're not like that. I don't think. I mean, I think they come in and they probably will bust a place for not being up to code, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So in this world, the FDA is basically its own like FBI style agency.
Well, it is to an extent because they're the ones that go and get like drugs.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Well, where does the tobacco and firearms and all that come in?
They go for the guns.
So like the FDA is usually their job is to kind of greenlight whether or not a like a drug, like a pharmaceutical would be allowed on the market, that kind of thing. There's another federal bureau that's involved in like drug trafficking and that kind of thing.
But like fake drugs, I thought were part of their thing.
That might be.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're here. They're like the FBI.
This is a hyperbolic version of the FDA.
Yeah, where they're like they have cold cases and stuff that, you know. But anyway, he gets like apparently there are 3 of these people in the world that have this ability, and one of them works for the FDA, and I don't know how they know about Chew.
It's because he's on a case.
Because he got that bust based on gnawing on the dude's face.
Yeah. Well, it didn't start off just him gnawing on the dude's face. It was the guy got cut or something and his blood got into his mouth.
Yeah.
And he started to see what was going on. So he's
basically, he discovered and tried to arrest a serial killer based on the soup that he tasted that had the guy's blood in it. And the serial killer ended up killing himself, but you know, he gnawed on his face and got the names of like 20 victims or something. So it was a big bust, but at the same time, like
he ate somebody's face.
He was caught eating this guy's face. So he was about to get he was basically being fired or suspended from the police force when the FDA guy come in and was like, "You're working for us." So they very quickly segue him into, "You're working for the FDA."
Oh, and his partner got his face hatcheted.
Yeah.
During that bust. And
his boss at the FDA is a jerk and he hates him. But
that's kind of life.
Yep. Mm-hmm. and yeah, I don't know. So that's the whole thing. That's the whole setup. And then some other crazy stuff happens. So Chew, what did you guys know about Chew and what do you think?
Well, I had previously read it and it is fantastic. So I was psyched to skim it again. I wish we could have gotten farther because some of the best stuff hasn't happened yet. I brought up his partner for a reason. It comes later, though. We didn't get to read it, but his partner comes back.
Okay.
But he's awesome. And there's some alien things happening. And
aliens?
Alien things.
Okay.
And then there's an awesome crossover with Revival, which is not this kind of book at all.
No.
So if you do read this, continue reading it because it only gets better.
So I swear I read this volume. I think I read this, and I don't recall reading any further. So I'd read this before, but I'd always heard good things, and I enjoy it. I enjoyed this reread of this first volume. I think it's good, and we can get more into specifics on what we liked about it. But first, Jesse, how about you?
I had not read this. I knew the premise because it gets high praise. So I knew that I wanted to read it. I knew that it had an interesting premise, and I just hadn't yet. So I did enjoy it. And it's interesting that you guys are like you're giving me little snippets of what's to come here. Because like just flipping through the pages of how the thing kind of gets set up, it's like, wow, that escalated quickly. And then, and then you're telling me there's like, well, this happens and that happens. It was like, oh, so that's just kind of how it goes. Like things just escalate quickly because that's kind of what happens. Like his initial partner being like dead, just boom, out of the blue. That escalated quickly. His brother being this chef that just basically rage quits. That escalated quickly. Aliens, I'm feeling like that escalates quickly. Then his new partner being who he is, that escalates quickly. Like it just goes from 0 to 60. So I'm sensing a trend. Yeah, no, I dig it. just to get that out of the way right off the bat. I'll say more about why as we get going. But yeah.
I will say one thing to speak on the escalating quickly. Yeah, it definitely does. And that's, what I was saying about him, like very quickly getting ushered over to like suddenly you're working for the FDA now. It's like, oh, okay. And we're doing that. And then it does escalate quickly after that. There's a development with his new partner. And I kind of don't like that. Like, I feel like to me, that's one of my criticisms. And I'm sure if I kept reading on, it'd be fine. The story just keeps going. But I kind of don't like that little turn out of nowhere.
Right.
Because I don't know. I wanted to see more adventures with these guys.
Yeah, and I liked him.
Well, I was going to say
he's got an epic beard and mustache or whatever.
His partner's pretty.
Awesome.
The partner is pretty pippish. He can like kick butt, and he's very sophisticated seeming, and he's fun. So yeah, it's disappointing, but you wouldn't be disappointed if you continued reading.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
I like the tone of it. It's a very strange. I mean, the concept is a little weird, obviously, but it also handles it like it's very gross.
Oh yeah.
It's super gross.
Yeah. And the art style, I mean, maybe it's a little early to jump into the art style, but the art style lends itself so well to it. Like everything is gross, but it's also very like stylized and kind of fun. Like the art style is kind of fun at the same time that it's like, even from the early pages on, like the very first pages are him like preparing the soup, this guy that they're going to eventually come after. And then he cuts his finger, so like you've got all the very procedural preparing of food and then blood, and just the future is dirty. Not in the way like we kind of when I think about like the gritty and that kind of thing, we talk about like Kevin Eastman's Ninja Turtle run when we reviewed that. This is different. This is more like everything has a stain to it, like things are rendered well, but they're also rendered simply, but everything has like this kind of, I don't know, like dirty, like needs to be washed kind of quality to it.
Which is particularly effective when it's a story so much about food, but it's like the most disgusting aspects of just food.
Yeah.
Food that makes you see visions, food that's always tainted, black market chicken. There's no chicken that's good black market chicken.
Synthetic chicken too, like chicken that's just basically in a vat.
Yeah.
Or an oil drum.
Yeah, gross.
Like one of my favorite parts is early on in there, but he's like, look, there's one that's good. That guy. He's like, no, he's just got like a wing and a thigh. Just let him be.
Yeah.
Guy probably spent his whole month's salary on that. And then the next guy comes out with like 20 pounds of chicken in bags. He's like, oh, that's your brother.
Yeah.
What genre would it be? I comedy, really.
It's like comedy. It's like horror, maybe.
Not horror, it's like procedural crime drama, but comedy.
It's definitely funny.
Yeah. It's super interesting. And to touch more on the art, like I think the art looks great. You're right, Jesse. It's definitely like does feel dirty. It is. It not like ooh dirty, just like kind of gross. Not that the art looks gross, it just conveys that feeling very well. The characters.
Here's a weird pitch. Here's a weird pitch for how to explain it. It's like Men in Black meets Lethal Weapon meets Super Size Me.
Okay. Oh, and just the power, like the way it portrays that power. It's like, yeah, that'd be disgusting. But also like it means he has to gnaw on dead things and people and stuff sometimes.
They don't always have to be dead either.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I suppose not. No.
My future prediction, though, was about the power of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers, do they hook up eventually?
Oh, is she not his girlfriend yet?
Nope.
Just a crush. Just a crush.
You didn't skim hard enough, did you?
Whoops.
Yeah. Okay. No, yeah. She's just a crush in this. I'm glad it seems like they went there, though, because they set it up pretty well. Mm-hmm. But, well, he sees a girl who is appealing to him.
Yeah.
And fortunately, she also happens to be a food critic who has the extremely rare ability to write descriptions of her food so well that the reader can actually taste it.
Yes.
But we discover this when she writes a review that makes everyone who reads it vomit instantly, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
But as soon as he then he's in love once he discovers this, because he can actually taste food without all the horrible visions of things.
Only if she writes it, though.
An egg? There's this terrorist organization, this politically motivated terrorist organization about the supposed conspiracy that the avian flu was faked and all this, and they pop up out of nowhere, and there's this it's so weird. Just crazy stuff happens in this.
It's all crazy.
Is it crazy though? Is it crazy?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I like the way the characters are drawn. They're squatty, but I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, they have teeny tiny legs and big huge shoulders. The muscular guys do.
Yeah.
Lanky too, his partner. He's very barrel chested, big frame, and then teeny tiny legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Chew is just he's a matchbook man. He's it'd be fun to see a David Tennant type character play him.
Yeah, definitely a skinny dude. I think the characterization is pretty solid. Chew is not a bad character. He's definitely he's not a jerk, but he's not necessarily he's not a fun guy.
No.
In himself. He's a very by the books,
Mm-hmm.
prim and proper type guy, and it conveys that well without being over the top about it.
Yeah. I like his first partner was I'm the whatever,
No
no
rules
holds
of,
barred,
yeah,
out of control cop with a good heart or something,
Yeah, that's right. He even says outright what their characters are. And he's he gets ready to go and he grabs a shotgun and he cocks it. He's lock and load. And the other guy's you sound like an idiot when you say that. He's I don't care. It's cool.
Right.
So I don't know. That's a good description of the tone of it.
Yeah.
It manages to be over the top without seeming like it's trying too hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
comes naturally.
Yeah.
Because the whole world is over the top. So when something goes over the top, it's I buy it. The guy on the plane that has a new type of fruit. Why is that important? But
that was so weird. Yeah.
And they never give you a reveal on it unless that's coming later.
It comes later.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you get all these little dangling plot threads that could lead anywhere, and you get that impression that they're going to pay off.
Well, but a lot of them do, and that's the great part, because you never really know what's important. You got to watch it all. Randy at first, I think, didn't catch, but he was trying to rush that the second partner was the vampire guy that the Russians were talking about during the shootout at the planetarium.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Did you not catch that either?
No.
Well, then I guess you guys suck. I don't know.
Well,
but
I mean, it kind of makes sense because he's rendered a certain way. Yeah.
Is he actually a vampire, or is that just the nickname they give him?
that's the nickname that they give him
because he has that power.
Yeah. He eats people.
I love the I love the little Arctic encampment and the it's a bizarre hyperbolic social commentary about these government projects where it's we get $34 million worth of funding every year and we have to look at one planet.
Yeah,
so
one
we
planet.
have more money than we could ever spend. So what do? We spend it on hooker, booze, and some weird stuff.
There's a guy lovingly staring at a llama or whatever
Yes.
it is.
Alpaca.
And they're we can get pretty much anything we want, even up here.
Oh, you know what? I guess it's not a complete stretch that there's aliens, because that's one thing that come out of nowhere. And I'm assuming it's the planet they were supposed to be watching, where shortly after that sequence, it then goes to this alien planet and there's people there.
Oh yeah.
And then it explodes or something and disappears into nothing. And it's a total non sequitur almost. And you're just, was that, I'm guessing that's the planet they were supposed to be watching. And it's as soon as they look away, or, well, I guess technically they all got shot, but as soon as they're negligent on their duties, the planet explodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody's looking. Do it now.
So yeah, it's pretty wild.
But it's great fun.
Yeah, I liked it. I like it. I feel like the concept on its own it's quirky and it's weird, but it's interesting enough to make for kind of a good setup for a story. But then like to throw the whole chicken thing and just the kind of all over, it's not necessarily that it's all over the place. It's not like, like we've talked about like Tank Girl and Milk and Cheese, where it's just like,
those are all over the place.
Yeah. Kind of insanity. It's that it feels like it's progressing forward, and it's all like, it's definitely like a linear story. It's just crazy stuff happens out of nowhere, like that you don't expect. So it's all over the place in that respect.
It's full of surprises.
Yeah. And it's quirky enough to where most things that it throws at you, you just kind of like, okay, I buy it.
Because you do. And you'll buy it over and over again.
How much?
I still want to give you like spoiler hints, but I can't because that's rude.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I'm not going to, but man, there's some stuff.
One thing they do that I think is really interesting, and I don't know if I've ever seen it before. They give us a hard reveal without giving us a hard reveal, where they like, he discovers a thing and it's a blank word balloon. And he clearly said what's going on, but they're not going to let us have it yet. Like when he confronts his partner and he's like, and when he discovers it, he discovers this like blank thing, And then when he sees his partner and he finally confronts him on it, it's just blank word balloon. And he's like, he turns and looks like, what? And he's, but we don't know what it is.
Oh, I'm so torn on that. It feels so cheap. but it's kind of funny too. Like that's, yeah. It feels cheap, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? Okay.
It's kind of I give it a pass because I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that before. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do anything like that in comics. So it's like, yeah, on one hand, it's a cheat and it's cheap. And I'm like, I want to know. But on the other hand, I'm like, that's clever. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And it's kind of like it.
Ridiculous in a way that makes sense. You're like, okay, I buy it in this book. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Again,
okay.
Why not? All right. Roll with it.
And you will. Again, no.
You will. Just go with it.
So, I mean, it's hard to really like dig into it. It's only 5 issues, but then again, like the pace is so quick. There is a lot of stuff that happens in this 5 issues.
Yeah, there is.
But I'm kind of hard pressed to really know what else to talk about on it.
Because it's too good and there's nothing to complain about.
For me, it's like, again, food puns, whetting my appetite for more. And since I don't know what's coming up, I mean, like I know there's, based on what I get on this foundation, I could get anything, and I don't know what I'm going to get. But right now, I'm in a state of what ifs. Like we were just barely seeing him explore his ability and what it does and what it means and what kind of weird tangents it'll take him on and what kind of false leads it's going to take him on. And it makes me have a lot of what ifs. Like what can he do with this?
What if they opened a thing of ashes in a room with a fan?
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
So there's been talk of Chew becoming something
like
a movie,
TV show or a movie. Oh, I hope they go TV show, because it seems like trying to cram all of this craziness into one movie. You could have, I don't know. They'd have to do it really well.
Yeah. And that'd be difficult. But they've been doing really good with comic book movies. I mean, TV shows, lately.
Yeah. With TV shows, I think, give him the long form, give him room to breathe. As fast-paced as this is, it feels like it needs time to develop, which is what it has right now in comic form.
Okay, so this is old news. Like, literally, this is old news. This was updated in December of 2017, but I can't find anything more recent. But originally, they were reporting that it was in development as an animated series.
Okay, that would be good.
But that was canceled, and it was again supposedly in development as a live-action TV series. Mm-hmm. And the update on that from December 2017 is that no project is currently in development.
Okay, that's poopy.
So there's nothing.
That's a shame. I think if you can pull off a show like Monk or a show like Psych, and Psych had, 7 seasons or something? And they still make movies on the USA Network. I think Chew has some real potential.
Yeah, and their thing was like a pineapple. Come on.
I think an animated series could potentially do well, but it not something on like a network, like on a broadcast network or something.
You think like an Adult Swim or?
Well, yeah, it could potentially be okay on Adult Swim. I mean, as with most properties, I'd rather see it go to something like a Netflix or somewhere where they have, where they could pretty much just do whatever they want, not really worry about ratings or.
Baby, have you seen Adult Swim?
That's true, and I can't imagine they worry too much about ratings with the way they handle some of their shows. But
some of their shows are like too madcap, though. Like I feel like this one would be almost too serious for Adult Swim.
Yeah, if it's going to be less than 3 years between seasons, then we just can't.
Right.
That's true. If it went to Adult Swim, yeah, you get 10 episodes every 3 years or so. Venture Brothers.
I know. And Metalocalypse that never came back ever again.
I think it ended how it ended.
What? It's not an ending.
I know.
They were doing something with Toki, and Toki's my favorite, and I want to know what happened.
I know.
Well, even Rick and Morty, like now we know we get 70 more episodes, but we don't know when.
Yeah. 70 more episodes in 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, he's notorious for stuff like that too, though, isn't he?
Who, Dan Harmon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, his series are always kind of a mess.
Right.
And I don't listen to Harmontown anymore, so I like have no idea. Like that would otherwise be a pretty good place to kind of get insight as to what the deal is, but or as much as he's allowed to talk, legally because they have contracts and binding whatever disclosure agreements and stuff.
Right.
Okay, well, Chew. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much more to say about it. I like it. This is again a lot happened, but at the same time, it's pretty short. Like 5 issues we read.
It's a quick read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a quick read, but I like the tone. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty unique.
It is unique, definitely. I don't think you're going to find anything like it anywhere.
I can't believe it's 10 years old. I did not realize that.
Because everything good is old.
Everything good is old.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get this in front of more people? Okay, so the normal question is, who would you give this to? How do we get this in front of more people? Does it need to be a TV show? Is that it?
Probably. That would help. Because people don't read anymore.
Because even I knew this was good, and it took a poll list to get it in like literally in front of me. I even owned it.
You even owned it?
Yeah, I think that Humble Bundle, I probably bought it over a year ago. And, it wasn't until we did this episode and it was on the poll list that I actually read it.
I would recommend it to anybody, really. And I don't know. Maybe that's what we need to do is just have copies and take them out and be like, read this now.
Read it now. Do it.
I think I'd recommend it to somebody with certain, like they kind of, it's not necessarily like black humor or dark humor or whatever they call it.
Right.
But they kind of got to be okay with kind of twisted humor.
Right.
Because there's comedy elements in here that are kind of absurd and kind of just, generally ridiculous, but the premise and some of the comedy around the premise is gross enough to where it could turn some people off, perhaps.
Sure.
But I think
look at how many people watch crime drama, though. I think that
people are weird though, because people will watch murder shows. They'll watch crime dramas and till forever, but at the same time they don't like horror because it's gross. It's like, are you watch like the more realistic depictions of murder and the stuff of results of murder, but you can't handle horror? Like people are weird about that stuff.
Right, but that's why I think they would be able to handle this because they do it procedurally, sort of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why I think it would appeal to more people than you think it would.
It's a weird cross section. It's like a cross section of people who like Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, and people who like Rick and Morty, because it's like that same kind of almost nihilistic thing, but it's more lighthearted than Rick and Morty,
Oh,
yeah, for
definitely.
sure.
I don't know.
For sure.
So weird. It's such a weird thing, but I think it would appeal to a lot of people. I just don't know who these people are. Like
I'm going to make my mom read it.
What's the audience, I don't know.
My dad might not like it, but my dad doesn't like anything. But my mom and my sisters would all like it, I think.
I think anybody
Really?
that likes the Preacher television show would like this at least. Maybe?
Oh, for sure. But no, I think if people are into the Preacher television show, I think they would. It's got like a similar type of ridiculousness, but I don't know how many people would actually are into the Preacher television show because it's weird. It's weird.
It is weird. Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I think
I love it too.
Yeah, but people, I don't know. People get turned off by a certain level of weirdness.
I don't know why, because if they would just go with it,
They'd rather have their murder more realistic and their sexual assaults and whatnots that happen in those shows all the time.
I know, and they're gross and weird.
I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of those shows. Those procedural cop dramas. But then again, I'll get on a big kick and watch like a bunch of Netflix detective shows.
It's got to be British. That's what it is. You need it to be British.
It doesn't have to be British. It helps if it's British. And also, I discovered what was it, Nordic noir or something like that.
What?
It's a genre of detective. Usually, it's detective shows. The lead's not always a woman, but sometimes a woman, and it's basically just like a dreary, gritty detective show where the lead detective is like, I mean, the case and stuff is important, but it's more about essentially usually a self-destructing detective dealing with this like ongoing case. So it becomes, I don't know, it feels more
So
like
Broadchurch?
very much like Broadchurch. Yeah, no, that's Broadchurch is like totally that genre, but
Okay.
It's
like a British interpretation of that genre.
As we were just talking, I started thinking, Chew is vaguely Twin Peaks-esque.
Oh yeah, yeah, I could see that for sure. You got the crime angle, but also it's a world inhabited with quirky characters
And just stuff that you're like, what's happening here? You know, so like, is there an alien planet? What's happening?
there was.
Yeah.
Why is he getting sucked through that tube? No, I'm sorry. That
suck through that tube.
was from
Twin Peaks.
yeah.
Which tube? There's so much weird stuff happened in that last Twin Peaks series.
Box.
The Twin Peaks: The Return or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good, but it was so weird. It was pure weirdness.
I know, I loved it. Some of it was kind of disturbing, even.
Here, David Lynch. Here's a huge budget and 20 hours to fill. Have fun.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Oh
it's
my God.
amazing.
Can you imagine who would you want to do this? Dreamcast this thing. So like, would you want a David Lynch to do Chew?
Ooh, no. No, I don't think so.
He'd go weird places with it.
too
It's
far.
already weird.
Yeah.
He'd go way too far in the wrong direction. Somebody who does have quirky sensibility like that, but can handle a more straightforward comedy. Like David Lynch has like a sense of humor, but it's just a really weird sense of humor. And you need somebody who...
You need Joss Whedon. Except
maybe,
he might
yeah.
make it a little... He might go a little too cutesy with it, but I think that enough of the murder and things might pull him out of it.
I don't know if he'd go gory enough though. Like okay, so he didn't direct it, but he had involvement with Cabin in the Woods. But outside of that, I can't think of anything where he like really engaged in like gory kind of gross out humor. And in a way, that's kind of what this needs.
Yeah.
Not like 90s teen comedy gross out humor, but you know, like horror movie gross out humor where it's ridiculous gore.
Who did
in humorous situations?
Who did the new Evil Dead? Who did the new Evil Dead?
I don't remember. Well, okay. The guy that left Ash vs. Evil Dead during the second season. That guy. Because the second season of Ash vs. Evil Dead was insane and over the top in weird, gross out, gory ways.
Yes.
That would be perfect for a Chew. But then him and the other, not Sam Raimi, but the other Raimi who had control of the property had disagreements, so the guy left.
Yeah.
That guy. Bring him on if you're going to do a TV show. And like if it's going to be live action, bring him on and do it with, I'd say Stars, but I don't know that Stars has the viewership to keep a show going for very long.
I'd kind of like to see like almost like a John Cho, you know, like somebody, you know, like we know him from Harold and Kumar. like take him from that Harold and
Ooh.
Kumar role and put him in the Tony Chu role and make him very straight-laced. Or
That
if
could
you
work.
or if you want to go even younger, you could almost go with the guy who plays Kyler in Cobra Kai. But when I envision it, the first thing that comes to mind is John Cho, mainly because he's he's super recognizable. So
No, that's actually pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I think that'd be perfect, honestly.
No, they'll probably cast some white guy.
oh god,
They'll cast some white guy. There'll be a bunch of backlash, and then they'll fix it by casting a Korean.
right? Yeah,
Dude, that's what. Okay, so I'm not familiar enough with Hellboy comics, but the new movie, there's a character from Hellboy in there who is, what is he? I think he's supposed to be like a Japanese American or something. But, he's one of the more well-known characters in the comics. And they initially, when they were casting the movie, cast a white guy. They cast the guy that played the villain in the first Deadpool movie. Super white guy, British accent. They cast him. And people are like, what are you doing?
right.
So they recast it with a Korean guy. And it's like, it's
Oh, you're so close.
Still kinda not the
so
same.
far away. Yeah.
still kind of not the same. So I guess, people are like, oh, that's better. It's like, I mean,
Is it though?
That feels slightly more insulting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could just do it right.
As a straight white guy, I confidently say that's going to be my thing this year, apparently, every episode.
Oh my.
But then again, I mean, no, they should have cast him right. But sometimes it works the opposite way. Like, there was the thing I was reading recently about racism in the industry, and a black guy went to try out for, I forget what the movie was, but it was a period piece. It was like old timey, like, I don't know, Romans maybe, let's say. And they were like, there weren't black people then, so you can't be in the movie. And he's like, there were black people, maybe there weren't a lot of them around, but they existed, And they were like, no, sorry, we can't do that.
I like the idea that there weren't black people back then. Anywhere in the world.
Oh my
So,
God.
but
what a weird thing to say.
Right. Well, I'm sure it was some stupid, like, outfit person. I don't know who. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't the important people in the
Random casting director down the line.
Yeah.
Or something.
Right. So you can not get parts because of your race, but then you again wouldn't get parts because of your race also. And it's just it's a poopy time
It's
to not be white.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, some white people would disagree. Some white people would say it's a dangerous time to be a young white straight male in America, specifically.
As a confident white male, I can confidently say they should read more.
Yeah.
The period piece is tricky because on the white
on the white side.
because on the white hand,
On the white hand. Oh my goodness. I'm white-handed.
Oh, that made me shoot a little.
I think we're done here.
They'll do an autopsy and we'll get the results back in 2 to 3 weeks. No one knows what happened here.
So we have no letters page. Letters page, we have none. Moving on.
Oh, time travel Randy, tell us what to do.
Blue, 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 blue. Oh, that's not quite the sound. Oh, well.
Oh, wait, no, that's not either.
Are you doing like the Wayne's World? Like,
Perfect.
yes, me out of this weird racist Freudian slip period. Wasn't racist, but
Chew in the chew and white-handedness.
oh,
White hand dominant.
don't bite the white hand.
Oh my goodness.
That's got a bad connotation.
Oh,
Yeah, it does.
yep.
Merry Christmas. This is Randy from in the future. Wait, what month is this? I just missed it. Happy Easter? Labor Day? Arbor Day? President's Day? Anyway, I come back from in the future because these numbskulls forgot to tell you how to send us letters. And in the future, we need letters. Send us an email at letters@grawlixpodcast.com. It's GRAWLIX podcast.com. Letters. As in that thing that you only get for the holidays. Or is that a postcard? It doesn't matter. Send us an email. Or you could send us an MP3. Do a voice recording, wrap it up in an MP3, throw a bow on it, email it to letters@grawlixpodcast.com. Is that too complicated for you? Or maybe you're like, I don't know how I'm listening to this podcast, but I don't even have a computer. Pick up your phone and dial 559-426-6427 to leave us a voice message. We'll play it on the show, provided you're not a pervert. That's 559-426-6427, or if this helps you remember, 559-4-COMICS. We want to hear from you, because as I can attest, in the future, we need your kind words. Because I'm lost in time. Episode 100, I'm just trying to get back to episode 100. All right. Future Randy out. So how about that Hellboy? When's that coming?
That's the trailer. We should have done a reaction video too, because I don't care.
Yeah, you guys had strong reactions to it.
Yeah, that's white. I mean, that's right.
You had a strong reaction to it?
People in the group did.
I did.
You did. I didn't. I had a very indifferent reaction.
It brought a usually docile Holly to the group.
It did.
It was like, whoa. See, I didn't feel that way about it either. Like I just kind of like, he's my rebound Ron.
Your rebound
You guys
Ron.
are too easy to like just accept crap though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I know. I get it. I just like, it's tough. Because I like Del Toro. I like Guillermo's stuff. So it's gonna be tough on both hands. I don't know.
The left hand and the right hand?
Man, that one's not dying.
So yes, please let that be one of the like gaffes that just disappears into obscurity and doesn't like become a running joke.
Oh no, now you said it.
So
yeah, it's over.
I like Guillermo del Toro as well. Yeah, and I love me some Ron Perlman. The guy is a treasure.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna hug him.
Of planet Earth.
I know, I want him to pick me up and cradle me, and then I'll hug him.
Me too. It sounds great.
I just want him to be president.
And I want him to say radiator. like in City of the Lost Children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be a lost child. Fight me, Ron Perlman.
We were worried that we wouldn't have anything to say on this episode. I think we've said too much.
I think we've said enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, that said, I'll revisit them. I've never even watched the second Hellboy, but I was not, and maybe I was just not in the right mindset, or I was expecting some. I remember not being super fond of the first Hellboy, or at least not super attached to it. So I'm kind of okay with it. But that said, this trailer looks like the movie. I mean, obviously they had money. There's a budget because there's a lot of effects, and the effects themselves don't necessarily look bad, but the movie itself looks cheap in a weird way.
Yeah.
But you know what? I love the Stranger Things sheriff, and that's Hellboy.
Yeah.
He could maybe cradle me.
Nah. No, because he'd be creepy.
Or give you Eggo waffles.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I don't think he'd be creepy. He might be creepy, but I don't think he'd be creepy in a sexual way.
Well, that's not necessarily in a sexual way either, baby.
Oh, you're right.
That's and I'm gonna skin you and wear you as a suit way. That's
yeah, but
not quite
Buffalo
sexual.
Bill would skin you and wear you as a suit in a sexual way.
That might be okay.
Because he's the would you Grawlix me? I'd Grawlix me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I thought the Hellboy movies,
yes,
to me felt like Watchmen, where it was like really pretty, it looked nice.
Okay.
But I couldn't feel anything about it. You know what I mean?
maybe that's part of like I do remember they looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
maybe
mean-
that's part of.
They have John Hurt. They have what's his name? The guy who plays Abe Sapien. And I mean, like, it's beautiful to look at for sure. And Guillermo del Toro, man, he does not skimp on the set dressing.
No. And maybe that's part of it. This new one, with the exception of some shots in there, which are pretty crazy, but the new one doesn't have that look at all. Like, I remember the other Hellboy movies as having that Guillermo del Toro, almost like what they'd call urban fantasy look, where it's like fantasy, but like modern day fantasy, to where it's modern day, but it doesn't really look it. It looks a combination of, like, I don't know, sci-fi fairy tale world almost, you know?
Yeah.
And this one doesn't look like that for the most part.
Right.
So maybe that's part of where I'm getting, like, the cheapness, but
No, it does look cheaper.
although I will say, I think it's his stringy black hair. This does feel like a seedier Hellboy that I don't know that I'd want him to
Yeah.
To cradle. Yeah.
cradle me. Yes, that's better.
Yeah. He seems like he sells CDs out of like a window tint shop or
seedy
something.
on multiple levels. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's seedy and he's compact disc at the same time.
He's a CD salesman.
Yeah.
This is the worst.
That tints your windows
That tints
for
your
half
window.
price.
Yeah. So
If
he's
you're cheap.
filmy too.
If you're for half price, if you're a chick,
Yeah.
that adds a whole nother level. Yeah, no, that
Man.
seems real. You've met
Oh,
somebody
hell,
like that,
boy.
I'm sure. You have. I was gonna say that seems so real that you must have come across that in your life. Oh my god.
I have.
Oh.
Did you date that person?
No, I did not.
Thank God.
Didn't even let him to my windows. But I did buy some CDs off of him, so.
All right, come on, we're in.
This is awesome. We're in the Grawlix studios.
Look, it's a plate of Mel's Hot Biscuits. I've heard about those.
Oh my God, check it out. Jesse and Randy's beard oil. I didn't know you can buy that in buckets. Well, that Sam Club's membership is really paying off.
Okay, let's get in their computer and drop this promo.
Okay, let's do it.
We're the Roman Podcast, and in the future, we're sneaking a promo on the Grawlix Show.
Okay, no, okay, seriously. Go.
Here we go.
I'm Roman LeBeau,
And I'm Rob Gast.
and we're from the Roman Podcast. We're just two Canadian guys getting together once a week to put our own spin on weird stories and trending news.
That's right, you can get our show every Wednesday night on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, the Laughable app, and of course, here on the EMC Podcast Network.
Okay, I think we got it. Put that on their show. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, hang on. While I'm in their computer, I'm just going to update their comic book pull list for the next few months.
What are you adding?
Captain Canuck, of course.
Nice.
This is Jesse. If you are what you eat, then I only want to eat the Grawlix stuff.
This has been Randy. A little floor spice makes everything Grawlix. There you go.
This is Melanie. And don't you love it when you come back from the Grawlix and find your food waiting for you?
Thank you for listening to the Grawlix Podcast. The Grawlix Podcast is a production of the Electronic Media Collective and Vorpal Arrow Studios. For more Grawlix Podcast, visit grawlixpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/grawlixpodcast, or follow us on Twitter at grawlixpodcast. We're also everywhere. All the time. All at once.
Choo, 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 that is the thing to do.
Choo choo. Give me that beep beep.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know the rest of that song.
I don't know what he's singing, but I'm singing the song.
Give me that choo choo. Now give me that beep beep.